Hiya, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be painting a sunset scene by the coast as requested by one of my collectors. So thank you for suggesting it and let's get on with it. Okay, so looking at the picture, obviously because with watercolour you've got to layer it down light to dark. So what I want to do is put a graduated wash all across the paper, like a light orange, and then I'll put some hues of red into the sky, create the sun. But I'm going to leave all where the sea is underneath there, and I'll be painting the sea over the top of that once that's dry. So I'll put my picture back where I can see it. It'll stand up straight. Yeah, there we go. Right, so I'm mixing up some orange now. I'm going to wet the paper just lightly, and I'm going to use a brush that has no paint on it just to spread the water around on there. That's just to help my wash along. Right, so I'm just going to see how this goes. I'm going to put my paint on there. I could probably do with a bigger brush actually. I'm going to use a bigger brush here, slightly bigger brush. Hold more water, more paint. Ooh, there we go. Okay, and I think the thing to remember is watercolor always dries lighter than you apply it, basically. So I can go pretty thick with the paint and it will tone down. I'm going to put some red in there, a little bit more yellow where the sun's going to be, just in that particular band. So I'm frightened it's going to dry too light, so I want to get a lot of colour in there. Okay, this is roughly where the sea meets the sky, so it's quite colourful there. Okay, put some streaks in there. I mean, we're going to have waves and the sea coming on underneath there, so I'm going to take off bits of it just using a bit of towel, which will create some interesting effects. I was going to leave that like that for now. I think I want a bit more red. I think, oh, laying it on pretty thick. Maybe too thick. I'm not going to worry about it. If it goes wrong, we'll do it against you. Don't worry. Trust me, it's gonna turn out okay. Oh, a bit of rich colour there. I might take the sun out with some kitchen roll though to really create like a white brightness in the middle. For that, I'm gonna get the top off some ink that I've got here, because it's a nice round shape. It's about the right size, and I've scrunched some kitchen roll just on there. I use kitchen roll a lot while I'm painting, just to do different things. So let's see if we can. Here we are. So we've taken some colour out there, which can indicate the sun. I might finish that off by hand actually. Let me just screw the top on my ink before I spill it everywhere. I try to stay out of camera shot now. Oh, I've probably got my arm in the way. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Here we are. We've got a bit of sun glare. I quite like that when it's slightly rough edged. Right. I'll put a bit more colour into the sky actually. It's still damp, so I can get away with it. Oh, that's thick. I might have to re-dab my sun. I think I've overdone that a bit. Overcooked it. There we go. We'll bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. Blend it in. when it's wet, you can get away with most things, he says. Right, that's creating quite a harsh line there, though, so I need to dab the sun out again. Let's see. The thing about watercolour is it's a little bit unpredictable, but so am I. Bound to make a mess of it. Right, I'll do it again. Okay, and now I'm going to do what I did before. We're going to dab some of it out by hand, because this red is a little thick. It's a little thick. I can always put a wet brush in there to help lift the paint as well if I need to. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, because it's staining. So I'm just getting some wet paint on the end of my brush. I'm going to try and just wet the surface and lift the paint off. Pressing hard on there. I can always try and bring it back with a bit of white paint afterwards. Right, my tablet keeps turning the screen off. I set it to I think it was a 10-minute delay, something like that. But there we go. So creating a bit of corona effect on the sun. I'm going to put some white paint in there when it's dry, just to. In fact, no, I might do it now. Just get my other brush. I've got some calligraphy ink here. Just going to use a bit of white ink just in the middle there, just to tone down that that red that I got in there. Right. Okay. Right, I'm going to have to leave this to dry for a bit now, so we'll come back to the video in just a second. Okay, so we're back. I've cheated a little bit off camera, and I've dabbed out a little bit more of the light reflecting on the what will be the sea. So I've sort of taken that back just with the kitchen roll again. So yeah, while well, I'm going to be honest, I went downstairs to get some coffee, and then I noticed it and thought, well, I'm just going to do that now. And I forgot to record, but never mind. Let's get on with it then. Let's get on with it. So I need to add in some of the sea. So I'm going to start with some lighter shades of blue. I can always darken it as I go, and obviously this area of interest at the front here, which is the looks like some pier sort of stumps or pieces of wood. You've got a little bit of land there with I'm not quite sure what that is. I think it's like is it a bush or something on there? Stu, you're gonna have to let me know what this is. Unless I just use my imagination, but and this I guess is just further out to see the end of the pier. Can't quite see what's on the edge of this pole here, but I have a feeling he's going to become a seagull when I finish with him, but we shall see. Right, we've got to keep the level, you know, the sea level basically. I've got to keep it to about this mark, just sort of there. So I'm going to grab a pencil and just pencil it in to sort of help me out there. Just trying to get it level. Just do a light line. It's so light I can't even see it. But we'll try again. Yeah, that's a bit better. Just to give me a bit of help when I'm laying down the paint. I can always blend it in, because you can see on this picture you've got some white lines where the sort of light's reflecting off the sea just before, you know, the edge of the skyline. So we're going to try and emulate that. But I like to bring things back with a little bit of white paint after put the line in there, or even I use like a fine line pen sometimes to highlight detail on some of my pictures. But let's get on with it. And for me talking, let's get this blue paint on there. I've got a bit pre-mixed up off camera here. I'm just adding a little bit of blue on the old palette here. It might be a bit dark, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay, so
trying to keep my head out of the camera line as well. So I'm just going to put an initial sweep of colour in, just trying to keep the horizon line straight, which is easier said than done. I think I've just about got away with it. It's interesting because this is a very light shade of blue here. I mean, it looks grey here, but I think because it's in the distance, that's going to be okay. I'm just going to use a bit of water on there to help it come down the page, or the paper even. Page. And we're not reading a book, we're painting a picture. I'm talking rubbish here. The perils of talking and painting at the same time, eh? We'll get there. Right. I'm taking a lot of the paint off there, so I need to add a bit more blue in. A bit more blue. Oh, mix that blue paint. Right. Oh, that's better. I want to keep some lighter bits though, because we've got some reflections in there. There we are. Like I say, keep it lighter. Then I can always darken up sections of it. You know what? I should have dabbed this sunlight reflection out as I was going along. Oh, the best laid plans. I'm going to do that though. I'm going to take the water into that section just to blend it a bit, so it doesn't look out of place. And then I'll take it out again after. We'll get away with it. We'll get away with it. Put a bit more blue. Got this dark section at the front where that bit of land was. Just trying to create some variance in the closer things are, the darker they are, basically. So I'm just trying to reflect that in the picture. Okay. Now I'm just going to go mad a bit here, I think. Just dab it out after, and I get some strong colour in. I mean, you've seen my painting, you know I like colour. Oh yeah, colour all the way. Oh, that's a bit stronger. Right, we need to bring back that sunlight on the water. So I'm just going to twist my paper up, try and stay out the camera's way again. Oh, there we go. So brought it back. We brought it back. There we go. I'll come around this way. There we go. It's a bit strong in the middle there. There we go. Got it. I'm saying there we go a lot. There we go. What I might do, sometimes I like to tilt the paper just to get the paint to run around a little bit if it's lacking in a certain area. It's not too dark yet, but I shouldn't panic. I can always paint over this. I'm going to take out a bit of the paint on the horizontal as well, just to reflect, sun reflections basically, where sunlight's hitting the water. And I'll detail this all in after. Okay, there's quite a bit of light at the front, so I'll just take it out like that. Here we go. I might actually use a bit of white ink at this point as well. It's going to blend in a little bit if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. I've got this Winsor & Newton calligraphy ink. The truth is, I'm quite an experimental sort of painter. I'll do stuff just to get effects, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but it's the only way you learn how to do new things, I guess. See, I'm putting some of the horizontals, you might say, for the light reflections. Now, this area here is where there's a sort of area of structural land, and it's sort of lighter in front, so I'm going to lay on the ink a little bit thicker there. take that back out again. Oh, this reflection is the bane of my life. All right. I suppose, I know this is going to sound silly, but sometimes I actually find painting from a photograph harder than just creating my own image, because you're in charge of what you put on the paper, and you're not trying to adhere to something, if you know what I mean. It's almost easier to sort of to make things up when, yeah, and it's quite a free way of painting as well. I quite like just making stuff up, but we'll get there. So if this one doesn't turn out, I'm going to redo it. It's only a piece of paper. At the end of the day, we can always start again. Right, I'm going to have to let this dry, and we'll come back to it when it's dry. Okay. I'm going to cheat a little and use the hairdryer to speed it up, but I'm not going to subject you to this. So yes, I'm going to dry it with the hairdryer. We'll be back shortly. He's done it again. He forgot to press record. Anyway, I've worked a bit more, bit more colour into the sky. I'm just trying to take out a little bit of the sort of corona edges here. I'm just going to drag my finger like that. It's okay. Yep. Right. Okay. I'm not sure what was recorded before. I don't even know. I think basically what I did is I wet the paper and I put more paint into the sky because it was looking a bit too not the same. Basically, it wasn't uniform colour across across the sky. It was too red in the one area. But anyway, we've corrected that. So we need to get on. I think I might get some clean water because my water's looking a bit muddy with all this mixing I've been doing. Just taking, I've used a clean brush there just to remove some of that red paint that was leaking into the sky there. There we go. Right, I'm going to get some clean water and I shall be back. Okay, well I've got some clean water now, and I think I'm going to work on the sea area, but I'm going to dry it again with using the hairdryer just to make it more, so I don't make a mess of the sky. So I'm going to stop the video while I dry it, and then we'll carry on in just a sec. Right, I want to sort of pen the line on the horizon here, and I'm not afraid to use sort of pen and multimedia in my paintings. I think some people don't like it, but I find if done properly, it enhances it. See that's really, to me, you see that's really brought the horizon line into focus there, and there's another band of color on this picture, like another line going across here. So I'm going to try and incorporate that into it. I'm not sure I'm going to use this. I mean, I could even just use the pen sparingly to sort of create little ripple effects on here and emphasize this reflection a bit, because I've lost it a little bit with a. There we go. That's looking okay. The only trouble is it lifts paint onto the pen, so I've got to clean the actual pen. Here we go. Here we go. Just emphasise the edge of the sun. Put some whiteness back into there. Yeah, I quite like how that's coming out there. I might just drag the pen across quickly to create like a sort of a dry brush effect. You see, be brave. Got to be brave. There we go. I think I was going a bit too quick. So I'm going to put another line in here below the initial one. Okay, yeah, I quite like the way that's coming out actually. I think I will use a bit of ink, white ink on there again though, just to try and bring it back. You use too much red paint, chap. Talking to myself, of course. Here we go, that's looking better. It's really brought it back, although I think I need to make it more yellow, to be honest though. A little bit of mixing a little bit of yellow paint with it. Hopefully it's all not going to go horribly wrong. Here we go. Oh, there we are. I should have done that before, shouldn't I? We're looking at the moon otherwise. It was too white. Here we are. There we go. Here we go. I'm just going to drag a clean brush around the edge here, and then I'm going to sort of drag the paint across into it. I just want to get the edge of it first, create the circle, and then I'm just going to let it bleed a little bit just to soften it down. There we go. It's blending it a bit more now. I think that looks a bit better. Maybe a little bit more. You want white right in the middle, so I'm just going to dab it out a bit in the middle. There we are. Oh, dabbing it back to the red there. Right, I'll put a bit more white back in. There we go. I'm just going to let that dry because that'll dry a little bit less bright. Okay, right. What are we doing next? I think I'm going to work in a bit of the waves down here. Or actually, I'm going to use my pencil. Put the jetty in properly, and we'll create these wave splash effects. Can't really see that very well, but there we go. It's just a rough idea for me to see where I'm putting it. So I'm going to use the dark blue paint, not black, dark blue. Just trying to get a defined edge there. And just sort of blend it down a bit. There we go. And put these other jetty. Are they jetties? I don't know what you call them. It's the bits of wood that stick out of the beach. They're not jetties. I don't know what they're called. I'm sure someone will tell me what they're called. Okay. I might actually. I have some felt pens in here. They're like permanent markers. I've got greys, browns, blacks, and I do use them a lot when I'm painting my sort of quirky coastal pictures. This is a little bit different because it's from a photograph, but so it's more realistic, I suppose. But just what I'm doing there is just emphasising the edges slightly. It's not really dark enough, that though. I need to get maybe a black one and a brown one. Just going to see how it comes out on there. Although, because it's blue, though I don't. There we go. Just this is actually a brown pen, but it's just emphasising the sort of a shadow on the top, or this. It's like a silhouette, I guess. So it's really making it sort of stand out. that one down. Get the edges of it. Okay. Right. Good look at this. Because I think it is. This is waves splashing on this here. So we're going to have to create some splashing effects. Probably going to cover the top of the painting because I don't want to get. We don't want to get wave splash all over where we don't want it. So. And we need to cover those up. I suppose it doesn't matter too much. I can paint over that again. So what I'm going to do is just going to get a small brush, get in my ink. I'm just going to splash it a bit random, just in the areas where it needs to be. Yeah, okay, I want a bit more over this side here. I can't actually paint it in a bit. I mean, I like it just flicking the paint on because it's quite gives quite dynamic, properties to it. But I can always fill it in. Help it along, you might add. We need a bit down here as well. Okay, and I think this is actually sort of foaming around these posts here, so I can take the edges of these waves across. Just use it again. It's like a dry brush technique there, but we want to sort of pick out the little detailing around the edge of the posts. Get in there with your finger. I'm right down at the edge of the picture here, so it's probably going to be on a border with a mount, so I shouldn't worry too much about this bottom area. But here we are. I felt like my hair was touching the top of the phone then when I was recording, so you probably got a picture of the top of my head. Never mind. Right. Yeah, let's emphasize some of these. This water here, I think. I'm going to concentrate on a bit of detailing at the front. I might do a bit more flicking of the ink in a second. Just looking a bit too. That's it. Break it up a bit. Break it up a bit. So we've got foamy area all around here, so I need to emphasize that. I think I will be doing a bit of white inking down here actually, because it's we've lost a bit of the dynamic. You'll say it in a second. Dynamic or dynamicism. Is that even a word? No idea. I'll just put a few lines across there, and things, horizontal bands of, the sea, ripples. The further you get away, the sort of smaller they are together. So as I'm doing it further away, painting things further away, the bands would get narrower, if you know what I mean. I can be quite thick with it quite close up here, and it's giving me a contrast here with the waves and the posts, which I like. Using the white of the ink to sort of bring it back. Okay, I need a bit more splash. Oh yeah, that's it. Get that back there. There we go. Lovely stuff.
I might have to edit this video down because it's. I didn't think it would take as long as it's taking, but I suppose when you get in the zone, you just get on with it and you don't think about how long it's taking. It's just you're just enjoying the paint, if you know what I mean, and I'm certainly enjoying doing it. Sometimes when you're painting a picture, you think you've lost it, I guess, and then just adding a little bit of detail sort of brings it back and makes you feel all good about it again. I think that's the right way of describing it. But yeah, I'm quite pleased that adding the white onto here with the splash effects has really sort of brought it back. I'm gonna try to define it a bit down that side. Right. Here we go. I think I need to do a bit over here. I'm just going to water it down a bit and just lay it into there. I think there's a bit too much water there. Trying to get the ink is quite it's quite translucent, so if you don't put it on thick, you kind of lose it. Oh, there's dripping water everywhere. You're making a mess. You're making a mess. Okay, I think I'm gonna let it dry and come back to it and decide what I want to do next. We're getting there, getting close to the end though. Good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of pen on the lower part of the picture to bring back those stumps, I think, just to bring the detail back. Try to keep my head out of the picture as well. Sorry about that. Got a big head, gets in the way, man. So turn it around so I can. I don't want to do too much, but because we've got the waves there, but just emphasize some of the edges. I think I'm going to have to do. It's interesting because the splash is actually quite dark. You see the splashes is actually quite dark. It's not white, so I might have to flick some dark paint on there as well to bring that sort of shadowing back. I'm not sure how that's going to work though, to be honest. Just give it a try. Give it a try. It's not wet enough. I suppose it adding a little bit of We're doing that back of that word again. Dynamicism, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. So, yeah, that's okay. I quite like that. I think what I'm going to do is use the dark paint to sort of bring in some of these waves as well, just underneath where the sort of light bits are, if you know what I mean. There we go. Just to create some wave effects. And rolling in there. So I'm not worried about too much on the edge of here because you're going to lose it on the mount. Yeah, okay. Keep doing these, as I said, like finer lines as we get further away. I need to put a little bit of broken lines in the distance as well, so because you've got elements of shadow there, but you don't want it to be too distracting from closer in on the picture, basically. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about, but he really doesn't. He just makes it up as he goes along. But it's most of it. If you have to learn to look at things before you can paint them. Painting is a skill on its own, I suppose, but observing and looking how the world looks is just as important. You have to see before you can actually put it down in paint. I know that sounds a bit silly, but it's true. At least I think it's true anyway. Okay. I don't want to go too mad on putting lines in further back, but I'm just doing just a little bit more, a little bit more. Try to keep them fine. Here we are. Just adding just a bit of interest further back. I haven't put the post in here. There's a post here in the picture, so I'm going to have to put that in. I'm probably going to pencil that in before I do it because I don't want to muck it up. So let's get the pencil out, and I'm just going to use the edge of this, to be fair. So it's above here, but just to the left of the sun. So it's about here. I mean, do I really need to put it in? Yeah, I suppose I better put it in because it's in Stu's picture, so we better put it in unless he won't be happy. Here we are. Here we are. So I think I'm actually going to use the brown pen. I've got a small ruler here somewhere. I'm going to cheat. Everybody cheats a little bit. I'm trying to keep my head out there. Keep my head out the screen again. But it's easier said than done. I need to put my light on. It's getting a little bit dark here. What time is it? It's probably getting on for 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, and it's hot in the room. I have the curtains closed because it's getting really warm. So the light is not as good as it should be. So I'm going to put my lamp on, and we'll come back. Here we go. Let's get the light. And then there was light. Right, got my ruler. I'm going to draw across the top edge. Comes out the water just there. Just trying to line it up properly. I don't want to mess it up. That out there. Yep. Let's do it the other side. I think I can finish that off. Okay, that gives me an indicator where I can use the paint, and I'm going to use the dark blue paint because it will match in. But I have a line to work from basically. I just realised I haven't got my glasses on while I'm painting this. I only use like +1s for reading glasses, I guess. I wear distance glasses most of the time, but of course I can't see a blind thing when I'm painting, so I have to wear reading glasses most of the time. But I'm getting away with it so far. Getting away with it. There we go. So I'm just having that line there is really helping me to just paint gently up to the line, and we'll take it steady. Doing the other side. Here we are. Now there is a bit of a flare to the edge of whatever that is. Still not entirely sure what it is, but we're going to put that on. It's a bit thicker. I'm not going to try and copy it exactly. I'm just going to put the edge of the pole on there. Okay. Just define the edges a little bit. Maybe a bit of dark paint just on the one side. I suppose that we're in the shadow side because the sun is behind the pole, so it is quite dark. But I think that should do it. I might darken up these ones while I'm at it as well. The sort of areas of this, or the edges at least.
bring it back on the one side a bit. Okay, yeah, it's looking okay. That, I mean, I'm no Leonardo da Vinci, but we've made a half decent picture out of that, I think. I mean, it's a subject. Stu wanted this picture painting, so I've tried to sort of do it justice. It isn't quite, I mean, side by side. It's not the same, but it's like, it's my interpretation of it, I guess. There's a lot of shadowing under this area here, but I'm not quite sure how or whether I should do anything extra work here or not to bring it in. I think I am going to do a little bit, actually, just to try and be true to the picture. So move it out the way again, and we'll sort of bring in these areas. Here we are. That's it. We've got a bit more kind of shadowing effect there, but truer to the picture. But I don't think it needs too much. Just put a few more lines in there. And again, I'm going to just darken up the foreground area a little bit extra as well. Oh, keep those waves a bit dynamic. That's it. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I might put a bit of white pen on this, actually, just to tidy it up, but I'll bring it closer so you can have a good look. I just can't believe I've recorded this for another 10 minutes. Where does the time go? Is anyone watching this all the way through? You're a better man than me, or woman. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it so far. We shall be finished very soon. I might put a little mat around it just to see what it looks like, actually, once I've finished. But I'll get the pen and we'll finish this off. Okay, I have a white fine line pen, so I'm just going to add a little bit of detail into some of the edges of these poles, just to indicate. Oh, it's not working. What's going on? Just to indicate the. He's picked up the duff one. Yeah, I've got another one. Here we are. Again, I'm just using a bit of broken line on there just to pick out some of the detailing there. And it's not 100% necessary that I do this, but it just adds a little bit of visual interest, I guess. Dampen it down a bit. Here we are. Okay. I think we'll call that one. Done. I'm gonna get. I have a. This isn't a proper mount. It's just a. It's a square piece of paper in the same size as some of the picture frames that I do use. But it's amazing how different a picture looks when you just put a mount around it. I think I'm going to have to cut a bit of that out. But I suppose it can be mounted bigger with a bigger mount, because I'm losing some of the picture here. So yeah, if I take the camera off, I'll show you closer in. Or actually, I'll just zoom it in. Here we go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I will take it off. Okay, I'm just doing it manually now so you can get a closer look at some of the detailing on there. Okay, great stuff. I hope you've enjoyed it. Okay, so you can see how dishevelled I look now in the heat after painting that picture. But we got there in the end.
I hope you liked it, and yeah, tune in for some more videos. I'm going to definitely record some more painting sessions. This was done off the cuff, really. I just decided to put a video up there, so I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.